everybody. Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Texas High School Football Huddle, brought to you by Citizens Medical Center. I'm your host, Chris Daly, and we have a great show for you this week. As you know, the Huddle is brought to you by Citizens Medical Center. One of the very cool things about the Medical Center is the Healthplex. Citizens Healthplex is Victoria's premier medical fitness and wellness facility. If your goal is to improve your health, prevent disease, help you get strong and fit, or just be well, Citizens Healthplex is for you. In fact, it's for me too. You'll probably see me and my wife there. Their 7,200 square foot facility has everything you need to maximize your enjoyment and get results. They offer all the space, equipment, and classes you'll ever need to get fit and healthy, including a large array of strength and cardio equipment, over 75 classes per week, a degreed and certified fitness staff offering professional instruction. Oh, and if you need to relax, try the steam rooms, whirlpools, dry saunas, and massage therapy. You want to lose weight? Hire one of the personal trainers to work with you one-on-one, and you're sure to see the results you want. Your journey to improved health, fitness, and wellness begins at Citizens Healthplex.
All right, everybody join me in welcoming Mike Foreman from the Victoria Advocate. Mike, I was saying on social media, it's funny that we have to go to AT&T Stadium to hang out together when we live so close.
Yeah, that is pretty weird, isn't it? I think we ran into each other at one game this season. I believe it was Gridiron. And
right.
Otherwise, yeah, we have to go to Arlington to pretty crazy.
Well, I guess give me your overall, which days did you stay there? I was there for all 12 games, but which ones were you there for?
Well, we just came in Wednesday. We caught the Shiner game, and then
yes.
We were there for all the games on Thursday. Well, we left in the second half of the Columbus game when it was pretty obvious that
right.
Columbus has. But so we saw a good portion, I'd say, of 4 games.
Nice. Well, I tell you, we were talking about this before we went live. I'm putting out an article on Lone Star Gridiron about ranking all the best games, and you caught the best games. You really did.
Yeah, we did. No question. At least from a fan standpoint, I think
right.
We had excitement, that kind of thing. You have Ganado going triple overtime. You have Shiner coming down to the wire. So
40 seconds.
Yeah. So both games, no doubt, both games.
So let's jump into Shiner first, because that's the one, although it didn't turn out how we wanted, it was a really good game, too.
Yeah, it was. 2 teams, I think Munster, they ran like 60-some plays to 40-some for Shiner, and, to me, that's the difference. And that onside kick, I mean, that is huge. I mean, because they stole the possession. And, in a game like that, possessions are so important. And, that was, I'll give them credit. That was a good decision, and they executed it almost perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. And people who've been listening all season know that Shiner's been a team that has been surprising everybody and getting better and better and better. And the fact that they made it all the way there and came within 40 seconds of winning the darn thing, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, it is. I mean, no doubt. I mean, they started out, 0-3.
Yeah.
They got it together, and, there's no doubt that them dropping the Division II helped. But, they were playing good football at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And, what's scary about them, and we talked about this, is only 5 seniors. And, I mean, gosh, if you you remember there were freshmen, juniors, sophomores making plays out there.
Yeah.
And, so next year they're going to be. I don't think they'll start out slow next year.
No, not nearly as slow. But you're right. They're going to have a bullseye on them all year next year.
Yes, they are. There's no question. And let's face it, too. I mean, Munster's got some people back, and you look at also, the game they played in the semifinals against Fremont. Fremont was pretty young. And and Fall City brings back Braylon Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not a given. And they still have to play like Poth and Hallettsville, in their preseason games. So, they're not just, people aren't just going to let them take it. They're going to have to play well, but I think they're pretty well positioned to make a run.
Yeah, definitely. Any other takeaways you have from that game?
Well, I thought about this from the whole, basically what I saw is how important special teams are. I mean, you look at just all those games. I mean, Shiner, not only the onside kick, but the punts, that Munster had.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you flip it over, Shiner wasn't getting very good punts. So, that just shows, we had, what game was it? I believe where we had a kickoff return for the touchdown, the opening kickoff. That was, I think that might have been Salina. It just, they're all the way through there were special teams playing. Even in, of course, Ganado, you think of the field goals. But even then, look at those punt returns that Logan Burrish had.
Yeah.
Those were huge. So, I mean, to me, that's the thing I came away with, just how important special teams are when you get to that level. Now, obviously, when you're playing a team that you're that much better than, special teams aren't going to be much of a factor.
Right.
But you get in a game where it's pretty even, then it becomes just really important.
Yeah, and I think as the competition gets tougher, like during the regular season, they say if you win 2 of the 3, offense, defense, or special teams, you'll usually win. But when you're going up against another team that has all of those, you've got to win all 3.
Right. It's very important. And we saw that, obviously, with the Shiner game, but there were some other games up there that were just, where special teams played a big role.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no doubt.
I think that was my main takeaway. The other was, I mean, I don't know how many people watched that Columbus game, but, Adam Schobel, that dude, I mean, he's good. And, and the other thing that impressed me about Columbus was how much better their defense was. They shut them down, I mean, pretty much, and I thought Malakoff might do something, but, their defense was just really dominating. And that was not the defense I saw against Quail at the beginning of the year. Or obviously the defense against Yoakum each time. Yeah. But obviously against Edna, they played great defensively. And then in the championship game, they were outstanding.
Yeah, I agree. And Grayson Rigdon's another one that is just so fun to watch. So fast, so shifty. And I thought he easily could have been the MVP. But I thought they were focusing on Schobel. They really were.
Yeah. Well, Schobel, I mean, man, he is so accurate with his throws. I think I counted maybe 1 or 2 throws that weren't right where they needed to be.
Yeah, it's just the long straight ones was the ones he overthrew. Anything to the sidelines or the corners, he was dead on.
Yeah. And speaking of accuracy, I think people get to see just how accurate Ganado quarterback is, especially for a 2A quarterback. Bryce Ullman, I even had someone text me during the game about that. This was the first time they had seen him, and they were amazed at how well he threw the ball.
Yeah.
And that, and I think too. I mean, I'm glad people get to see Ganado because I'm glad they get to see how good of a coach Josh Irvin is. I mean, that's something we've known down here because we see him. But I think now the state knows, just how good he is.
Yeah, and I tell you, you've heard me say it over and over and over again all year long that is the fastest team speed on any team I've ever seen down at this level. And I thought in the championship game, it shouldn't have been this close at all. They just kept finding ways to let Stanford stay in it, and I think it was all Ganado who was doing it.
Well, I think it was a little of both. I mean, Ganado did, but give Stanford credit. I mean, and like Josh said, I mean, they are extremely well coached.
Yeah.
And they did what they had to do to stay in that game. I agree with you. I think that game easily could have been a 2-score game or maybe even more.
Yeah.
If Ganado takes advantage of some opportunities like there at the end of the half, and they don't miss field goals and things like that. There were some opportunities there. There's no question.
Yeah.
Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Whether you're an athlete, coach, or just someone striving for more success in life, the Winner's Workshop is your secret weapon. Yes, this award-winning course has transformed thousands of lives, teaching the game-changing principles of sports psychology that Fortune 500 companies, coaches, and top performers all use to win. The Winner's Workshop, subtitled How Sports Psychology Can Make You a Champion, is now available on CoachTube for a fraction of the original $499 price. The Winner's Workshop will help you master focus, mindset, and breakthroughs to make you a champion. Click on the link in the show notes or head over to LoneStarGridiron.com and click on the ad today to unlock your full potential.
I give Stanford a lot of credit, and then I give Ganado credit for not cracking. Usually a lot of times in those type of games, when you don't take advantage of those opportunities, it comes back to bite you. And Ganado was able to hang in there.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing that I was impressed with by Ganado. I've been impressed with them all year, but the fact that they finally had their backs up against the wall and they just kept fighting and they did what they needed to do. It wasn't pretty at times, but it was beautiful when it finished.
Yeah, and then, I think that was a little bit like, not exactly, but like the Refugio game because, Refugio pressed them. And I'm not so sure right now Refugio is the second best team in the state. But because, they gave them a game. And, but they hung in there, and that's to their credit. And I think that's where last year's experience really helped them because, they got to the semifinals last year and, of course, lost to Timpson. But, I think that experience of being in those situations really paid off this year.
Right on.
Yeah, and Josh was, if you just look at what he does, their game plans, it's amazing to me. He knows how to find a weakness.
Yeah.
And he'll exploit it. And and the other thing I liked what they did, even though they never gave up on the run. Even though there were a couple of plays they were stoned. And but they never quit running the ball, which, so they never gave Stanford an opportunity to just kind of sit back against the pass.
Mm-hmm.
They kept running. And so that paid off for them, too.
Yeah, definitely. And I tell you, how cool is it for the people of Ganado, their first ever state championship appearance, and they come home with the trophy? That's huge.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it really is. To go up there your first time and bring it home. A lot of the kids were joking about how the old timers there were giving a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they get to give the old timers a hard time because they did it, and they deserved it, and I'm happy for them because I know how hard those kids worked, and they put in the time and it paid off for them.
Yeah, definitely. And I tell you, if you look at where the final teams that were the champions are around the state, it was a lot more spread out this year than it has been recently. So, you've got people in the Houston area, the Gulf Coast, Central Texas, you've got some West Texas stuff. It's not all DFW centric. And I understand, yes, they had a lot more in there, but they didn't all win this time.
No, they didn't. Now, of course, North Crowley did. But no, they didn't all win, and that makes a difference. And I want to get on my soapbox again because do you know that onside kick that Munster pulled off?
Mm-hmm.
The coach said they put it in that morning.
Yeah.
And now that meant that they got to work out that morning.
That's true.
Shiner did not. And to me, I don't care what anyone says, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that if Shiner had worked out, they wouldn't have, still been able to get that onside kick because obviously they saw something in the formation they liked.
Right.
But that's still a big difference. And I guess, I'm not sure what the contractual situation is. If UIL and AT&T are still, if they're under contract. But,
right.
I sure wish they'd look at going maybe to Waco or somewhere like that, it's a little more fair. And that being said, I still enjoy going to AT&T Stadium.
Sure.
And I know the kids, it's a great experience for them. But, you ask almost any coach whether he'd rather have the experience or win a state championship.
Yeah.
I think we know what the answer is right there.
Yeah, no doubt. And I agree with you. I think it's a huge advantage. I think last I heard there's a couple years left in that contract, but interestingly enough, the attendance was way down compared to where it's been just, a few years ago. I mean, right before the pandemic, there were 45,000 people in the stands. I think there was 14 at the last game, which is usually where the big attendance is.
Yeah, and I wonder too how much the college football playoffs had to do with that.
Yeah,
you had Texas playing that afternoon, and you had the Ohio State-Tennessee game that night. So I'm sure some people might have decided, hey, we can stay home watching on TV, flip back and forth, kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah. So that may have. Well, I'm curious to see what happens next year when, if the playoff is on the second weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And speaking of next year, I think the Gulf Coast Texas high school football scene looks really strong. Just not only the two teams that went there, but we've got some other ones that could be up there pretty easily.
Yeah, I think the team I'm looking for next year is Tidehaven. They lost in the semis this year with a very young team. So I think Tidehaven has a really good shot. You never know. I think Cuero's going to be stronger next year. Now, whether they get through Wimberley or Region 3, I don't know.
Right.
But, I think there's a chance right there. I think Yoakum if Yoakum can find a quarterback, I mean, they've got a lot of linemen back, and they also have Xavier Barnett, who's, extremely talented player back. So there's some teams that, might have the opportunity. And I think, Refugio, too, has some talented seniors.
Yeah.
So, after this year, I don't know. But next year, I think they might have a shot again.
Yeah, I think so. And you mentioned Cuero getting by Wimberley or La Vega or someone like that, but someone's still going to have to face Carthage. I don't think they're ever going to lose.
That is just incrediable. 10 championships. That just blows my mind. And he's never lost, right?
Right. No, he's 10-0.
That's what's so incredible. It's incredible enough just going up there 10 times, but to never lose is just amazing. And I saw his son as a junior, I believe, right? So he'll be back next year. And, I'm curious to see after next year if some college doesn't come after him because, you kind of look at UTSA, what they had, he went from Gilmer to UTSA and, they just got a big win in the bowl game.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I would think somebody might want to take a look at Scott Surratt after next year.
Yeah, that's my thinking. He's going to go ahead and stay there until the son graduates, and then it's going to be he can just pick where he wants to go.
Yeah, and, really, realistically, too, Josh over at Ganado, I think he's going to have some opportunities, too. Now, whether he wants to leave or not, that's another thing. I know he spoke and he's talked about he thinks he can build like a little powerhouse there. Mm-hmm. Because he says he has some younger kids coming up, and I know the quarterback, who replaced Bryce Ullman in the first 3 games, is pretty talented. He was a freshman.
Nice.
So, and the cupboard's not bare there. Obviously, they're losing a lot of seniors. Yeah. But, they got a chance to be good again.
Yeah, and like you said, I think a lot of people around the state saw him coach, and that is more impressive. The fact that he's coaching like that and he's in a state championship and he's winning one, there's going to be a lot of people, giving him a call.
Yeah, and I know he's expressed the desire to stay in this area. He's from Bay City. Right. So I think he likes staying in this kind of Gulf Bend, area. But, I don't know. Somebody comes in and throws a lot of money at it.
Yeah.
Kind of hard not to.
I hear you.
Yeah, we'll see though. But so it's the football season's over, and but before too long, next thing you know, they'll be playing 7-on-7.
That's true.
And then there'll be 2-a-days, and then before you know it, here we go again.
Definitely. Well, Mike, it definitely goes fast every season. I'm glad to have been able to join you each week and share what's going on around here because there's some great stories.
Yeah, it really was, and I appreciate it, Chris. And it was good seeing you in Arlington. And who knows, maybe we'll actually bump into each other closer to home.
That's right. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm wishing you and yours the very best Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if we don't talk before then.
Same to you, Chris. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
You're listening to the Lone Star Gridiron Sports Network.
Hey, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I want to thank Citizens Medical Center for bringing you the Gulf Coast Texas High School Football Huddle. Please take a second to share this show with your friends and family. Like and subscribe on any major podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play. Wherever you find podcasts, you will find the Gulf Coast Texas High School Football Huddle. I'm your host, Chris Daly, and I'm hoping to see you at the game. We also need to give a shout out to another sponsor, Camacho Tractor and Equipment Repair. Paul Camacho and his staff specialize in tractors, zero-turn mowers. They're bad boy dealers, but they're also probably best known for their repair and maintenance. In fact, I had my bad boy mower, took it up there. They did such a good job bringing it back to life. New blades, new belts, cleaned everything up, got it running. So nice. It is just night and day, the work they can do on your equipment. And they work on all kinds of tractors, all kinds of mowers. You can find them at 744 FM 1686 in Telfiner, or call them 361-652-5672. That's Paul Camacho, Camacho Tractor and Equipment Repair.